Hello, fellow alchemists. Welcome back to our series on LiveView. Now, since the last time we had our LiveView episode, we actually had quite a big update. There's made quite a few changes to the API, and I'm going to go through with you guys how to actually update your app to use the latest version of LiveView. So without any further ado, let's get started. Of course, the first thing we need to do is we need to actually update our Phoenix LiveView. So the latest version at this time is 0.5.2. And of course we do our mix steps git to update. And because probably there's some changes in the JavaScript, we need to force update that. So let's go into our assets folder, npm install -f Phoenix LiveView. So that was going to force update. Okay. And now, as you can see, it's also using the same version. So now the next thing we need to do is actually update one last thing. They have changed a few things in the web side, which I think is for the better. So no longer do you need to import only. You could just import only that part. So just all of this. And now also they moved this part to be helpers. So again, we just remove all this, change this to .helpers, which I think is, like I said, very, very fantastic. Make it a little bit easier. The live view, yeah, that's fine. And the router, so that's basically it. So you see it's just live view router. In the view, it's just going to be live view helpers. And then in the controller, just live view controller. So it's pretty straightforward, much easier, I think, than before. Now, the other thing is, let's go ahead and let's run our tests, and I want to show you something else. Oh, sorry, need to CD back one. What you're going to see is actually they did change a few more things. One is that you have to actually use string keys for your assigns in your session now. And then you're going to see a warning come up, so you can actually see that happening. And while we're waiting for all this stuff to compile, we can actually start to go to our JavaScript too to see that also. Wait one moment, about to be done. There we go. So everything still passes, but you see we get these warnings, which is exactly what I was talking about. Is that we need to use string keys instead of our, what do you call that? Instead of our atom keys. So it's pretty straightforward. What we need to do is we need to go to web, our controller, go to our user controller. Now we need to replace with string keys. Same over here. There we go. And then, of course, we need to actually pattern match on that. So let me go to user edit. We need to pattern match on here. And this one, we need to also pattern match on the locale. And on the show. There we go. So now if we run our mix test, you'll see that all of our warnings go away. Now there is one more thing that we need to do, actually two more. As part of our upgrade path, is we need to actually update our endpoints. We need to set our session options. We grab these from the plug session, cut those, session options here. We go to here, put our session options in here. And then we will go to our LiveView socket. And we need to actually add in the session options to there too. So it is WebSocket, connect info, session, and we use these session options again. So that way we can actually get part of the session from there. I'm just going to format this to make it a little bit nicer. Looks like nothing will really change, so that's good. And then we have one final change, which is actually in our JavaScript. When we load up our LiveView connection, what we actually need to do is we need to actually pull in a CSRF token. Now the way that we do that is quite straightforward. We need to pull the CSRF token from our page using JavaScript, so query selector, from a meta tag called name, sorry, let's actually use double quotes here, name CSRF token, and then we need to get the attribute, and that one is called content. And then within here, we need to add a params CSRF token. Of course, the CSRF token itself. There we go. That's enough. And then, of course, one last thing is we need to actually put the CSRF token within our template, within our layout. So we go to our app HTML EAX in the head section. Then we just add in our token. So it should be CSRF meta tag. And that's it. Run our test again just to make sure we didn't break anything. Everything should just flow fine. So that's how you can update your website to use the latest version of LiveView. So this is Alan from Plangora. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks. Bye. Hi. Please feel free to ask us any questions about Elixir, Flutter, or anything else in programming. Here's our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll answer your questions every Friday. Ya mantai ke dak man all. Yo wenti ji da wen wo.